Hello, everyone. This is Tammy Fisher within the Doll World, and I'm here today with my gorgeous co-host, Miss Georgette Taylor.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Hello. Hello, dear. You're looking fabulous.
Thank you.
And today we are honored to have our first doll clothing maker that we're interviewing. This is Eva of Tirin Katten, and we're so excited to have you.
Hello, Eva.
Thank you for joining us.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, we're so excited to have you too. So tell us where you're from and a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I live in Oslo, Norway.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to be to work in with computer science, but the last few years I've been spending most of my time making doll clothes.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So we want to start where we start with, with our regular question. Mm-hmm. Please tell us your doll journey, where it began and how it led to where you are today.
For me, it started in 2013. I did a lot of knitting at the time, and I came across a photo that somebody posted of a Blythe doll. So that'll be one of these. Mm-hmm. Wearing a hat, I think, that she had knitted. And I saw this photo, and for some reason I was intrigued by it. But I also thought that she looked a bit weird, a bit too weird. So, but I did some I did some Googling, and I ended up buying this other doll, a Pulip. Her features are kind of I don't know. Are they easier to like for somebody who doesn't look at dolls all day? Maybe.
So I got they both have very distinctive faces, nice big eyes, and yes.
So it took a few months before I actually bought a Blythe doll. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, I found out about ball jointed dolls. Yes. And I realized everybody's talking about these BJDs. What's that all about? Mm-hmm. And I got really excited when I realized that you can have these super realistic looking dolls. So I bought one, a 60 centimeter one. Didn't know what I was getting myself into. And I shouldn't have been surprised when she arrived, but yeah, she was big.
Yeah, that's a good size. Is that like around 18 inches, 60 centimeters?
No, smart dolls?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Same size as those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's 24 inches.
24 inches.
Oh, it's 24. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and I started sewing. For some reason, I had this idea that I wanted to dress the dolls. And I found, I didn't know that I was into this. It was like this whole world opened for me. Mm-hmm. With so many possibilities. I started sewing and I kept sewing and I'm still sewing.
That's beautiful. Sure. So you sew for many different types of dolls now. Is that true?
Yeah, it used to be Blythe, but these days I sew mostly for this BJD made by a South Korean company. These are called iMda dolls. And they come in a few different sizes. This is the most common one. She's about 12 inches.
Okay.
And I have one that's larger, 16 inches, 16, 17.
Okay.
And they come in different sizes. This is, I guess, the smallest one.
She's cute, little
She's really
cute.
Yeah. She's cute.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And they're iMda. How do you spell that?
iMda. It's those are letters taken from the name of the person who sculpted them. So I guess it was 3 years ago. They asked me if I would want to make some official designs for them for their releases. Mm-hmm. And of course I said yes. So I've been doing that a few times, like a couple of times a year since then. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that was so scary at first.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Yeah.
And I learned so much from it, still learning.
Yes. One of the things that we've heard from people, even the people who are fashion designers, like we recently interviewed Byron Lars, and he was talking about the difference between making dolls for human size and for doll size, just the difference in patterning. And we've heard that that's, you know, very different. It's a different way of thinking.
I hear you. I once made a dress for myself, but I don't want to think about it. It didn't turn out so well. I don't know how to sew full size.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that was the opposite, right? Because he was sewing, he was creating full size, you know, designs, and then went to dolls. And so, so that would be opposite for you. To take what you're doing with dolls and create full size is a little bit more complicated for you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so hard to work with those huge pieces of fabric.
That's so funny.
First of all, I need more space.
That's true, though. That's true.
Yeah.
You would think it would be so much easier, but I guess in the scheme of things, it's still complicated, no matter which way you look at it.
Yes.
You know, for some people, working with something that's so tiny could drive them crazy, you know. So.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. It drives me a little bit crazy because when I work on larger dolls for a while, I always get this idea that it's going to be so hard to return to Blythe size, and then I do it and it's fine. But I always get this idea that it's hard.
It's going to be. It's like that riding a bike. They say once you've ridden a bike, you can ride a bike. You don't ever really
I guess
forget
it's
it.
a little like
so
that. Yeah.
you can go back.
That's true.
Yeah. So you said you started off with a Blythe, and you also said you were doing computer science. So are you working in both industries now, or are you
No. Well, I was, after I found out about dolls, and that this is something that grown-ups can actually do. I guess I was working double for a while. I was up so late every night working on some kind of project that was doll related, and that didn't work out in the end. So I ended up quitting my job and started doing this full time.
Wow. Okay.
So this is one of the questions that we ask of our artists.
Oh, I know it's coming.
I was going to ask that question too.
Do you make a living with your doll clothing?
I wish I had a different answer to that, but no, not currently.
But you're enjoying what you're doing and you are making money?
I am making some money, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoy it so much.
Okay.
When I quit my job, I was a little bit worried that I would get bored with it, having more time for it, but that didn't happen at all. I still wish that I had more time for it.
Wow.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
When you find your passion. That's the way I feel about it in the doll world. It's my passion. I love this.
That's great.
Yes.
So you said you did the Blythe dolls, and then you do commissions, I guess, for another company for their dolls.
I do that sometimes.
Okay. Do you do any other commissions outside of that?
No, not really.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I sometimes sew to sell on Etsy.
Okay.
And when I don't do that, I work on tutorials that I also sell.
Okay, that's good.
I've only made 3 so far. There's 2 dresses and pants, and each tutorial has instructions, quite detailed instructions, because I want to make it accessible for a lot of people, including those that haven't done a lot of sewing already.
Right.
And I try to include patterns in different sizes, with each tutorial.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, so you said that you started in 2013. What was your childhood like did you play with dolls before 2013 or?
I had dolls when I was a kid, but I didn't, my favorite plaything, I guess, was Playmobil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not the dolls. I had a few Barbies and probably a few other dolls, but I still have the Barbies. But no, they didn't, I played with them, but not more than anybody else, I think.
Okay.
So it's a little weird. Didn't see it coming.
Everyone's journey is different. You have people who, like with C. Robinson, she said she, didn't play with dolls, wasn't a big deal to her until she had a daughter. And then she went shopping, and then she couldn't find dolls for her daughter that looked like her daughter. So she just developed this play line. And we've seen that with Nia Dorsey. I mean, we've seen it with a number of people. Something happened that brought this to a head. It wasn't that they were doll collectors, that something happened and their path led that way. So your story isn't that, it's not that odd for the doll world.
No. I remember, when I ordered that big doll, the BJD, my excuse, because I felt like I needed an excuse. My excuse was that I would use it to try out knitting patterns. Yeah, and then I wouldn't have to, knit so much to find out how things would fit.
Okay.
I never used her for that.
That was just your excuse. Well, do you still knit though?
I try not to. Sometimes I get the urge, but I kind of try to suppress it.
Wow.
Because
well,
that's where you were.
Yeah, that's right. No, I just try to stick with sewing. I make detours sometimes, like shoemaking, wig making, doing face-ups, but it feels like it's distracting me from what I should be doing. I would rather get better at sewing and designing clothes than halfway good at a bunch of things.
Okay. That makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's just that when you were saying when you started, you saw the picture of the Blythe doll with the hat. So I just assumed that you would have continued knitting. But that makes sense. So were you sewing before?
I had sewn a few things. I remember my mom helping me use her sewing machine, and I kept getting these birds' nests of thread under under the
I know that one.
So that's kind of my memory of sewing when I was a kid. My mom would make outfits for me a few times. Sweet. So I think she had a better handle on that machine than I did.
So when you started sewing, I mean, so what was that process? You were knitting, then you started sewing for them. What made you think, oh, I should start sewing clothing for dolls?
I guess it's just the fastest way to make clothing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not such a fast knitter.
Okay. Okay.
You're waiting 2 years for a pair of pants? That's what you're saying?
Well, most something like that. Yeah. Get awfully cold in the meantime.
Okay. With patterning, did you make your own patterns, or did you start with someone else's patterns and then create your own? I mean, what was that process?
I got a Japanese pattern book.
Oh, okay.
A bunch of very daunting looking patterns for Blythe. And I took the simplest one and I made some kind of a top or simple dress. And that was my starting point. And from then on, I mostly made my own.
Okay.
And I was fortunate to meet a doll person who taught me how to make patterns, and I still use her method today, where I tape in the body. Well, I take the doll body and I cover it with tissue paper, and then I use tape, and then I draw in the seams. And,
the seams, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen that done before. That's okay. I've seen people do that, and I've seen people who also will put plastic on the body. Like saran wrap, saran wrap. They'll wrap the doll in plastic, and then they'll put masking tape over that plastic, and they will draw the seams.
Yeah, same. So it's the same technique.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I watched a video of Robert Tanner showing how he makes patterns. That's cool. He used a different technique with I guess it's called draping, where you just put the fabric on the doll and kind of.
Yeah, Emilia does that too. Emilia Nieneman. I believe Emily does draping too. Yeah, and Tanner's background is he was a fashion designer, and so that's really interesting to see. A lot of the people who are in the doll world came in from the fashion design world. So you know, Tanner and the Byron Lars that we spoke to, and Doug James. There's a number of people who that was their background, and then they started off with the designing clothes for people, and then they went into the dolls. They designed clothes for dolls, and then they became doll makers. So you said you got a contract to do clothing for a doll company. I think that's a lot of the small doll makers. I think that's a dream for them, to be able to work with a company. What was that like?
Yeah, it's a small company. They do these limited runs of like every 3 weeks maybe. They do a pre-order for a doll, a specific size and sculpt, and they sell an outfit to go with her. That's only 30 outfits.
Okay, all right.
So what I do is I design, I make a sample, and I send them that plus materials. So they have a seamstress who makes the 30 outfits.
30 outfits.
Okay.
Okay. So you
You
supply
do
the
the
materials
designing.
too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
that's
nice.
awesome because I hate to make more than one of the same thing.
Okay. So you're
that.
So you make
She's
one
like
of
a
a
sample
kind.
maker.
Is that what it is?
That's what I end up doing most of the time, even if I don't want to. Try to make duplicates sometimes, but I fail.
I can't remember. There's someone else that is like that, who says it's Patricia McLean Smith. She's a crochet doll maker.
All right.
And Pat says that once she makes the doll, she's made the doll. It's like she's bored. She doesn't want to go and make 20 of the same doll. She just,
exactly.
she makes the one doll, and it's like, it's time to move on to something else.
When I make something, I get a new idea, and then I want to try that.
And so where do you sell online, and how do you advertise to, so people know about what you do?
I use Instagram mostly.
Okay.
And some Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah. I post on Instagram when I have something available.
And you, like, it's primarily one of a kind. Do you do the whole outfit, or do you do like a dress?
Well, sometimes it's a dress, and I try to make full outfits more and more because it's more fun.
Okay. And so when you make the full outfit, what does that mean? What accessories do you make with the outfit?
Maybe a hat, a dress, and an underskirt.
Okay.
Maybe something like that.
Okay, because I know you had said that you played with making shoes, so I was wondering if you also made shoes. And
no.
Okay.
I made a pair of shoes that was pretty good, and now I don't want to try again because I worry I won't be able to make a pair that's equally good.
That perfectionist.
Yes. Hello.
Yes. I'm also a poet, and I wrote this poem when I was in college, and it's like, I will never be able to write a poem as good as that again. And it took me a while to get myself. It's like, you could do that one, you could do another one, you can move on. And I think that a lot of us creatives get there. Will Smith talked about that with, I think it was the Muhammad Ali. I think that was the movie that he did, and he said once he did that, he was like, it's like, this is like the end. I can't. It's like, I've done my greatest work, and so I think that's just how we are as creatives. We think, it's like, I can't do any better, and then you take a break, and then you come back.
You do better.
Yeah, you take a break, you come back, and it's like, oh, I knocked that out the ballpark.
Right.
Well,
luckily, I'm not supposed to make shoes, so it is technically sewing, but the material is wrong.
The material's different, yes, because the harder. Yeah, and it's a lot more molding. I mean, with clothing, it's
it's quite an involved process with shoemaking.
Yes.
It's really, really fun. I love shoes.
you love shoes, but you said, I'm not ready to make them. That's all. That's all. Yeah, I totally understand that. It is different. I'm sure it's a different process altogether. So, and the fact that you already sew now, and that you find it easier to, to be in that flow, you don't want to interrupt that flow, to have to go back
exactly.
and try to figure out how to make the shoe. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
So you only make one of a kind outfits now. And
mostly, yeah.
So can somebody call you up to commission an outfit from you? You know
No,
what I mean? No? Okay.
Not really.
Unless they're a big company. Unless not a big company, but unless they're a company, right? Then they can, but not individuals.
Allison did the smart thing.
Yeah, that's how I heard about you, was Allison Hernandez.
Because she contacted me, and she said, I don't sew, but I was thinking about asking somebody else to use your patterns to make dresses for my dolls. And I said, well, I can do it for you.
Okay,
that was a good approach.
Yes.
Sorry.
I said that's how we found out about you. We love Allison.
Yeah.
So that was nice that you made that for her. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself going with this? You started in, was it 2013, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been doing it for like 8 years now? Your 8th year?
9.
Wow.
9?
Something like that. 9.
Okay, so where do you see yourself going?
Well, I am planning to do more tutorials.
Okay.
Because that seems, that seems to be the only way that I can maybe start to make a living off of it.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I just need to work with myself to, do that in a way that doesn't take so much time.
Okay.
Have you thought about selling your patterns? Because there are people
I have.
who sell patterns.
You mean without instructions? Yeah, I have.
Yes, because there are lots of people who sell patterns on Etsy and that kind of thing. And I think it's like the tutorial. It's like you make one pattern,
right?
And then you put it up there. So even if only 10 people bought it, you only have to do that work one time. So I think that's part of the magic of doing the patterns.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that.
Yeah. And that'd be easier than the tutorials too, because you could get, I would think in the time that you make the tutorials, you probably could have made at least one pattern and get it up listed and, ready for people to buy it. And if your clothing sells out fairly quickly, that there's a demand there, people want your clothes. So there you go.
So it's already a market there for that. Yeah.
It seems like
Thank you for mentioning that.
You're welcome. It seems like a natural progression. We're always trying to grow the doll world. We want to see more dolls, more doll clothes, more tutorials, more dolls. We love the doll world.
And we want to also be able to help the person who is creating that look at the opportunities that they have differently.
Yes, that's true.
A lot of times, because as the creator and the sewer, you may not, like you said, you may be thinking one way, but when you speak to other people, they could give you better, a better idea of what is working out there. Maybe you can utilize your talent in another way. So
yes.
Well, Tammy, you don't know how right you are, because the tutorials, I write and I rewrite and I shoot and reshoot.
Yeah.
It's a never-ending cycle.
Yeah.
But I make patterns. I can make patterns like very fast.
So that seems like that might be a good way of doing it. And especially if you sell all kinds of patterns, like hats and purses. And so there may be people who just like, maybe they have a doll that like a Barbie. Yeah. So they don't want the dress, but they want, the accessory. They would like the hat or the whatever. So then they buy those. We had a similar conversation with Emily Nieneman, and she is now doing tutorials. And that's when we talked a little bit early before the show started about the doll I made the wig for. I followed Emilia's tutorial for making the wig cap.
Oh, okay.
So so it's like, thank you, Emilia. And we talked to Hexton recently. I don't know if you know Hexton. He's got a YouTube channel, and he is a doll customizer. And he was talking about how laborious the videos are. Yeah.
Of him doing the customization of each doll, how long it takes him to shoot that video.
Yeah.
And then
I can
edit
only
that
imagine.
video. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And especially when you're a creator, I think I think anybody that's doing a video, editing a video, you always get caught up in the perfectionism of that information, you know, and that can just drive you crazy. And so the other thing I was thinking about with the pattern making is that once you do that and you find a good pattern, then you can, or with your design, if you have a really good design, you just sell that design and that pattern at the same time, you know. So that'd be a good opportunity to do that too, because even though they like the pattern, some people, trust me, they're not gonna follow it, but they'll like, oh, I like the pattern. Did she make the dress already? I'll buy the dress. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, you know, that would be me. Just you know, that would be me. But
yeah, and that's like Allison. You were saying that Allison was looking for someone to make dresses using your patterns. You know, so there are already people out there who are making dresses using your patterns. So why not give them more patterns?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you make one dress at a time, so it's not like they're competing with you, because you don't want to make that dress again.
Exactly.
Right. You can let them make it. So that's cool.
Yeah. So you set up opportunity.
Win-win
for other people to make money in the doll world. Yeah.
A total win-win for you.
Yeah.
I have a doll that I really want to show you.
Okay.
She's right here. I don't know if you've seen, do you know her? She's by Connie Lowe.
Oh yeah, we know Connie Lowe.
Yeah, this is Stella's big sister, Ruth.
Okay.
You know Stella?
We know Stella.
These dolls are just amazingly quirky. Look at the big hands. And I got to show you the feet. Yeah, they're just, she had a little mishap with her knee. She's kind of broken, but yeah, I love her.
Yeah. So we've reached out to Connie, and hopefully we will be getting a chance to interview her soon. Connie is she was trained by Paulette Goudreau.
Oh, she was?
That's their relationship. So and Paulette has these quirky dolls too. You know, so I can see that in Connie's dolls. Yeah.
Connie is she's amazing. She does such a lot of work. I don't know how she does it.
I don't either. So do you make clothes for Connie's doll?
I did for a couple of weeks, and then I moved on.
You need to be a pattern maker.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
real truly.
Yeah, that's where you should make your money. Yes, because it's like you don't have the desire to just keep doing things over and over. So make the patterns and sell them.
So
I'll definitely think very hard about that.
Yeah. And save you a lot of time and money. And you also have the tutorials, and so that they can back up each other. So people who just want to buy the pattern can go and do the pattern. But you're saying that you also make tutorials for people who don't have that full understanding of sewing, but you want them to be able to make things. So the people who are already good at sewing can just go buy the pattern and make the dress. And the people who want to learn to sew are encouraged to buy the pattern and do the tutorial. So they lead into each other. Yeah.
Let me see. How many dolls do you have available? So we can see some of the outfits that you made.
Here's a little Blythe dress.
Oh. So cute.
And this is a doll by Robert Tonner. I made this outfit for her ages ago, many years ago.
Oh, okay.
And I was so proud of it. I did all this. I tore the fabric and kind of messed it up.
Oh,
and
nice.
I tried to recreate this dress for another doll recently. And I just couldn't. The style didn't work for the other. For the other doll.
Outfit. Yeah, very cute.
Or I was doing something wrong. Like my stitches were too short or something. Because that dress was very sloppily made.
Okay. Well, it looks
and sometimes that's a good thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, it gives it a little uniqueness, you know. So that's cool.
Okay. Did you make?
I did. Yeah, I've made everything that I've shown you.
Oh, the hat too. That's right, because you crocheted the hat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to keep this dress because I didn't plan properly when I did the sleeves. It has this faint embroidery going down the sleeve, and I added that by machine after hemming the sleeve. I know it's a bad decision. I could have probably fixed it somehow, but I got to keep the dress because of that.
Is that was it customization? That dress was for some other doll? You said I got to keep it. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I got to keep it because there's a few threads that I wasn't able to secure.
Okay.
Okay.
And here's just a little blouse and pants. Yeah, I don't really make a lot of elaborate things. I guess this is slightly more elaborate because I've recently been experimenting with doing a collar with a stand. Can you see?
Oh, yeah.
Just because I was having such a hard time getting the collar to sit where I wanted it.
That's a cute dress.
Okay.
I like that.
Thanks.
I really do like that look. That's very
Thank
nice.
you.
I like the collar up too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like how it's turned out.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you for that, sharing those. Great.
Thank you for asking. I just thought about one thing that I would like to mention.
Okay.
If anybody who's watching likes to sew and they maybe they're not too happy about the result, but they can't really say why. I have one word for them, and that's water.
Water?
Water shaping. Almost every time when I finish a dress or whatever, I soak it and work with fabric, kind of pushing and pulling and prodding and trying to and putting it on the doll to kind of stretch and really trying to get it to look nice before I leave it to dry.
So so you make the doll dress first and then you soak it in water?
Yeah.
Okay.
It works wonders for gathers on skirts, especially.
Oh, that makes sense.
And especially if you're using maybe a thicker fabric that doesn't maybe want to lay the way you intended.
Okay.
It can be really helpful, but it only works on cotton and linen. It needs to be natural fiber.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right. Is there a time that they should leave it in for?
Oh, yeah, or a temperature?
No,
you don't want it to shrink.
Just a bit of water from the tap.
Okay.
And I kind of wring it and shake it out and kind of mistreat it.
Okay.
And then, if possible, leave it to dry on the doll. You may not always want to do that because of color transfer.
The color, yeah.
You don't want to stain your doll.
Or staining.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, thank you for that. Cool.
But if possible, that's a really good trick.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, thank you. Because I can imagine you spend this time making this beautiful dress and then the dress is sitting wonky and you it's like, oh, I don't want this dress. And just a little bit of water could make the difference. So that's a great tip. That's a very great tip. Thank you. We appreciate it. What do you sew with? What do you use?
I have a Yuki semi-professional straight stitcher.
Okay.
You know, to most people that seems like a useless machine. They'll say, what? It doesn't zigzag? It doesn't even zigzag? No, it only straight stitch, but it does that really well. But I try to tell people if they're going to sew tiny things to try to find a vintage machine.
Okay. Like
an old black Singer, because those are most of the time straight stitchers. And that means that the throat plate where the needle passes through looks different, and it's not so easy for the fabric to get stuck in the gut of the machine.
Okay.
It doesn't get pushed down so easily.
Okay, that's good to know.
So you don't need an expensive machine, you just need an old machine that maybe you can get for free, or maybe you already have one in the attic.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I have a kid who's a cosplayer, and people are talking about, you should go and get these expensive machines to work with leather. And it's like, no, you go and you get the old machines.
Right. They can stand up to that. That's right.
Yeah, people were sewing leather.
Yes.
Well before we had to have a special, machine
attachment or something.
Exactly. In place. People were doing it on those old machines. So those old machines are really valuable.
And it can handle all different types of material too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's cool.
The workhorses, they're not going to break on you. They haven't broken in 100 years. They'll probably still be around 100 years later.
I was using a Singer for a while because I met this wonderful woman who collects sewing machines.
Oh, cool.
And she said, this is the machine you need. She sold me a nice little Singer that I used for a couple of years.
Oh,
And
cool.
the only issue I had with it, it didn't go very fast. And that's so that's why I switched it out.
Oh, okay.
I keep a regular home sewing machine for zigzag only. So I have 2 machines that I use.
Do you do a lot of zigzagging when you're sewing the doll clothes?
I prefer zigzagging over freight check. This this sort of varnish type thing that secures the edges. I trust zigzag a bit more, so I try to use that.
Okay. Do you also use a serger?
No, never tried one.
Okay.
So that's good advice too. To get a older machine that does straight stitching.
Yeah.
And I think even if you're just starting out sewing, that will be less intimidating. I mean, you have fewer.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, now you can get those computerized machines and they can do, all kind of special doohickey. If you don't sew,
you're overwhelmed, right?
Yeah, it's like I got 15,000 stitches.
Yeah. I even for a couple of months I was using my grandmother's old machine, hand crank. So I was doing this.
Wow.
And it just felt so good to sew on that machine. I had the best control ever. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to guide the fabric because one hand was stuck turning the wheel. But that didn't turn out to be a problem at all.
Nice. That's good to know.
That is. You're giving us great tips. Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I hope somebody can use it.
Yeah, I'm sure they
it's
can.
Great. Yeah.
Because they, like you said, somebody may have one of those in their homes and be like, I don't need that. I can't do nothing with that.
Yes.
But that way you at least let them know that they are still workable and they, you can utilize them, so, to make really good outfits. So
and I see them in thrift stores commonly. You see the older sewing machines that are in the I don't know what you call it, but like in the desk, they kind of flip down into it. I see them commonly. So they're easy to, at least where I live, they're easy to find and they don't cost much. So if you wanted to get into this or try it, that's a low entrance point. And like you said, you might be able to even get them for free. So that's great information. Thank you for that suggestion.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So do you have any suggestions on how to reduce the staining with the colors? Staining the doll bodies.
Use white fabric.
That always works.
I love it. That's great.
I guess you could also use white undergarments and then put the the color over on top of the white. Yeah,
I see vinyl dolls come with these stain preventing garments. It's kind of boring to have to put that on first. Well, it's always there, I guess, but stay away from new dark denim. That's the worst.
When I was working with the Dina doll, I put her in that picture. She's got like a dress on. It's just fabric wrapped around her. And it never occurred to me that the fabric would stain her. And so her body has black stains from that fabric. And I think if the fabric had not been washed previously, I was told by someone once, but that if you wash fabric in like vinegar, that's supposed to get some of the color out and help to set it. Yeah. So
that sounds familiar.
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
I never tried that.
It keeps them from running, Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not the great seamstress person here.
We had a big problem with that with the Dawn doll because we had a red outfit on her. A red like velvet thing, and so the inside of it was really bad. And Dina, and Deja too. I mean, and also I think it is sometimes the vinyl, right, that they work with too, because sometimes some vinyls could be much more porous than others. you know, the grading, the grade of the vinyls that they choose, and then you put the material on top of that. You know what I mean? It just makes for a really bad combination. And so we had a lot of them that were discolored when you took off their gowns and things like that.
Fascinating.
So, yeah. So we were like, oh, but you know, we didn't know anyway what we were doing.
So the body was vinyl?
Yes.
Yeah, some vinyl just sucks up the dye.
Yeah, it does.
It's fascinating how fast it goes.
Yeah, it really is. And we didn't, like I said, we had no clue about that. So we didn't know. And we had people who got them and then they wanted to redress them. And they were like, oh, my doll is discolored or it has like these lines on it. It was just like, oh, so we felt bad about that. But we learned a little bit more.
It happens with many dolls.
Yeah,
I guess most dolls that have been in their package for a few years is gonna have some staining.
Yeah,
I think that's why a lot of people undress their dolls. They just, you buy these expensive dolls and they just take their clothes off of them.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
Yeah, strip them naked and then go back later on and put some clothes on them, when they want to play with them or whatever, or keep them in, like you said, white or light clothes.
I never thought about that, Tammy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have too many extra dolls, so I guess I never thought about that though.
I have a big collection like Tammy.
I only have my own dolls that I and Byron Law. It's just the only dolls that I really collected back in the day. I have a few jeans now, and of course, because of our amazing creators, I do get a chance to get a couple of dolls. Not as much as Tammy, but they have blessed me with some of them. So
you have a wonderful Fabiola.
And I have one of Joseph's dolls. So yes, I've never really had a big collection of dolls, and I like them, but for some reason I don't know why I just never bought them a lot. But when I saw Byron Law's dolls, I had to have it. It was like I have to have these dolls.
I can understand that.
Outfits are beautiful,
Yeah.
And Jason Wu was another one that I wish I would have started collecting because, and with Jason Wu, I think I loved his accessories more than anything. He had the best accessories and little leather sofa. It was something I had never seen before, and so, but I loved his dolls too. But yeah, I don't have a whole bunch like Tammy. I had to stop. I was like, I cannot, because I would be, I'd have no money, so I just couldn't do it.
I feel slightly bad for the dolls I have that just sit untouched, unplayed with.
Yeah, the reason that I have so many is I'm a doll store owner, and I was supposed to sell all these dolls, and I haven't. So it's got they're dolls that are sitting here, and it's like, yeah, but I like this one. I don't want to sell that one. So I need to I need to sell dolls and decide which ones I'm going to keep, and I'll probably donate some. And but I need to de-doll my. Now, literally, I probably have thousands of dolls in the house.
Oh.
All of those are not mine. I mean, they're mine because it's my doll store, but they need to live someplace else.
So we'll probably have a store in the doll world at some point.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Exactly. So Eva, we want to thank you for joining us on In the Doll World. This has been a wonderful interview, and we appreciate all of the tips that you've given us. And thank you for sharing your story with us. So where can our listeners find you?
Instagram is the best place. Tirin Katten, that's my handle.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can find the rest of the info from there.
Okay.
I have an Etsy store. Links from the Instagram.
What's your Etsy store? What's the name? It's the same name?
It's the same, Tirin Katten.
Okay. Thank you. So we will have links to that, and thank you so very much for joining us and for sharing your amazing story.
Thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being In the Doll World with us. We appreciate it. Yeah. Appreciate your time too, and your amazing talent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye from In the Doll World.
Bye.
Bye.